Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Earth and Medicine. Today I'm going to show you how to make some flower boxes for show jumps. So I've been training my horse Sunny how to jump, and I decided I wanted some professional looking show jumps, but I didn't want to spend a ton of money to buy them. So I had some extra material here and I decided to make my own. So I'm not a super experienced woodworker. I only know the basics and I haven't done this in a long time. So if you're nervous about working with power tools or you've never done it before, I encourage you guys to try. As long as you're following simple safety measures, you'll be just fine. So I encourage you to go pick up some power tools if you don't have any, or maybe borrow a friend's. If you have somebody who is pretty experienced, it's probably good to just take a few lessons or so. And another great resource for learning too, of course, is YouTube. So I'm going to show you guys how to make this flower box right here. I've already made this one, but I'm going to make another one so I have two to go under my show jumps. So some of the materials I use to make these flower boxes are plywood, just some finishing nails, some white primer paint, and then I went to the dollar store and I bought a bunch of fake flowers. So this is the flower box that I'm going to teach you guys how to make. I've already started filming a little bit of it, and I kind of described what measurements I had and just some of the techniques I used to make this box right here. So I will go ahead and show you guys. So I start by measuring out the bottoms and the tops of the boxes. They're going to be 4 feet long and 4 inches wide. I'll go ahead and measure and then cut the tops and the bottoms, and then I will measure and cut the side walls. The side walls are going to be 5 inches tall and 4 feet long. After I measure and cut the side walls and the tops and bottoms, I will cut the end pieces. It's good to have a few other extra tools on hand, such as sawhorses. I am getting covered in sawdust. We got the bottoms and the tops done of these flower boxes, so now I'm going to cut the sides. Another tip and trick is to keep your cut wood on the other side of the board to keep the board from eventually falling off just from the weight of your saw. So I keep all of this wood right here that I've already cut right on the edge, and this helps kind of counterweight it. You can also put a clamp if you've got one and kind of like clamp this to your sawhorse. So I'm now cutting out the sides that will go on the ends of the flower boxes. This is a good example of why you should measure the next thing that you want to cut off after you've already cut off the previous thing, because whenever you make a cut, you're always losing amount of wood that is about the same width as your blade. And so you can see right here, I made the mistake of measuring before I cut my first set. And so this was supposed to be 6 inches, and then I re-measured, and 6 inches is now out here. And that is because my blade right here is about 1/8 of an inch. And so if I had not re-measured and go ahead and cut, my sidewalls would all be 1/8 of an inch too short. And so I've made this mistake in the past where I measure everything first, and I go ahead and I cut, and I don't re-measure before I cut, and everything is about 1/8 of an inch too short because that width of the blade got cut off. Always be consistent with where you are cutting. So if you're cutting on the outside of your line, make sure you're cutting on the outside with each cut. Make sure you get your blade going fast before you touch the wood. If you have the blade touching the wood before you start it, the blade is going to try and grab that wood pretty hard, and it can kind of throw you off of your mark. You can also start to kind of shred the wood and throw big chunks off, and your wood's not going to look very pretty. We've got all of our supplies gathered here to make our second flower box. One of the tips is to go ahead and set your nails first so that you're not trying to hold up your boards in place while you're also setting your nails. All of the nails will already be standing up, and you can just go ahead and hammer them in while you are holding your boards in place. So I'm going to go ahead and set my nails. For this, I am using some 1-inch finishing nails. I guess these are specifically panel board nails, but they're just nice and small, and then they also have a little bit of, I guess, some teeth that will help keep them held into the boards. And these are like $3 for this whole pack. It's also important to make sure you're hammering on a hard surface so that your board isn't bouncing up and down. I know that I want to put the end pieces on the outside of this board, so that means my end pieces are going to be about a 1/2 inch wide right here, and I'm going to be putting nails in like this. So therefore, I don't want to put my first nail right here because that's going to be in the way of my outside nail. So I'm going to put my first nail in about 1 inch back. So now we're going to start assembling the box. I grab a top and bottom and I line up my 2 sides somewhere where they'll stay still, and I put one of those top or bottom pieces on it, and I just put the end nails in first because then it'll stand up. Another important point is you're going to have bowing in of your walls in the middle. So something that I noticed too is if I just tack in one side right there and I stabilize it with the other wall, and then I come and I put a middle piece in before I tack in the other side, it helps the wall keep from bowing in, and then you can tack on your other ends and your other nails. So right now we're going to do that first end piece, and then we'll tack in a middle, and then we'll put our other side end piece on and a middle piece, and then we'll do our other ones. All the way down. Very nice. So he's got the end in, and you can see it's bowing in right here. So I'm actually going to put in a middle piece. And
can we do this end one too?
Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. And now we'll put a middle piece in on both sides just to keep these bowing sides. We'll put whatever part it's bowing the most in first, and that'll keep it there. Cool. So now this is not going to bow as much, and we can just go down the line and then put our other pieces on. Okay, and now we'll go down the other side the same way. So like before, he's going to tack in the sides that, or the parts of the sides that bow the most, and that kind of helps keep the wall out, and then we can tack in the sides that are not bowing. Alright, and now we're just going to put the top on. These inside walls are going to bow, so we're going to want to tack on these first. You can put one of the edges on first to help it stay still. So now we're going to put the tops of our boxes in, or I guess these would be the end pieces. I had cut these out yesterday, and of course, you know, it's just rough woodwork. They don't completely line up. So now we're just going to tack on the top. Well, cool. Very nice. So we're going to go ahead and now put a pool noodle actually into the box, and what this does is it just helps keep those flowers a little bit more sturdy once they're in the box, because you can kind of jam the ends of those into the pool noodle. This is not a necessity, this was just kind of an idea that I had, but since I have the pool noodle, we're going to do that. This is the pool noodle, cut to size, dropped in there, and then we'll just put on the top. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and sand it a little bit and then give it another paint job, and then we'll let it dry, and that'll be done. guys like this video, check out the other videos on my channel, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.